Morning, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for coming. So we will start, as we nearly always do, with a Dharma glimpse from this week. It's from the book, the Bright Dawn book, which Petra's volunteered to read for us. Oh, here's the microphone.
Sometimes there are no words. After Sunday service is over at our Unitarian Universal Church, we all noisily gather in the common room for what we call our common noon coffee. Last Sunday was the same. The usual small chit-chat followed over coffee, and then I spied an old friend at a far corner I hadn't seen for many months. Something didn't seem right. It was the way she stood, her gesture, more puffiness in her face. I don't know, just something. Making my way to her, I then said cautiously, "Haven't seen you for a while. How are you doing?" "Well," she said, "they cut my hours at work by half in November. A week later, I found out I had cancer, and they took me pretty much right to surgery. They couldn't get it all, they said. They released me a few days later, but then I was back in because I developed a severe infection. That took even longer in hospital." She showed me how much her first thigh had disappeared as a result of the infection. "I start chemo next week," she finished. "Oh," I hated to ask, "will this be covered by your insurance?" They tell me probably not, since it was discovered only after the insurance was cancelled. I looked in her eyes, then hugged her tightly. "Anything I can do for you?" "Maybe you can think of anything yet," I told her. "Least, not until things have played out further. Just let me know. Anything you need, help me along the way, okay?" "You can chant for me," she said. Will do, I said, as she noticed I was looking for her to leave. Afterwards, I felt so inadequate. All these years of practice. Didn't have much to offer for all that. But then I thought further. I think it was enough. Sometimes I found there are no words. Sometimes only a tear and love comes, and it's all we can give. And is it enough? I will chant, so I promised. Walk in peace, my friend, walk in peace.
So we'll go into a period of silent meditation. Make yourself comfy, and then we'll begin some chanting. Namo Quan Shin Bo Sat. 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 Namo Quan Shin. So now if you could repeat after me while we recite the refuges and precepts, and then after that, Rabbi Avani will lead us in the Bodhisattva vows, which are call and response, and the responses are on the reverse of the liturgy sheet. For refuge, I go to the Buddha.
For refuge, I go to the Buddha.
The one who is awake and full of love.
The one who is awake and full of love.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
For refuge, I go to the Dharma.
For refuge, I go to the Dharma.
All that guides us to wisdom and compassion.
All that guides us to wisdom and compassion.
Namo Dhammaya.
Namo Dhammaya.
For refuge, I go to the Sangha.
For refuge, I go to the Sangha.
Those who live in the Buddha's light.
Those who live in the Buddha's light.
Namo Sanghaya.
Namo Sanghaya.
For refuge, I go to the earth.
For refuge, I go to the earth.
The holy ground of awakening.
The holy ground of awakening.
Namo Bumyai.
Namo Bumyai.
With faith in the four refuges.
With faith in the four refuges.
And in light of my human tendencies.
And in light of my human tendencies.
I pray that I may become aware.
I pray that I may become aware.
Of when I take life.
Of when I take life.
I pray that I may become aware.
I pray that I may become aware.
Of when I take what is not freely given.
Of when I take what is not freely given.
I pray that I may become aware.
I pray that I may become aware.
Of when I fall into sexual misconduct.
Of when I fall into sexual misconduct.
I pray that I may become aware.
I pray that I may become aware.
Of when I fall into wrong speech.
Of when I fall into wrong speech.
I pray that I may become aware.
I pray that I may become aware.
Of when I become intoxicated.
Of when I become intoxicated.
No blame.
No blame.
Be kind.
Be kind.
Love everything.
Love everything.
Innumerable are sentient beings.
We vow to save them all.
Inexhaustible are deluded passions.
We vow to transform them all.
Immeasurable are the Dharma teachings.
We vow to master them all.
Infinite is the Buddha's way.
We vow to fulfill it completely. So I was going to talk about everyday Buddhism. One of the hardest things I find for me at the moment when it comes to practice is finding the time. I'm aware that I should prioritize my time and make better life choices, but sometimes it just doesn't seem possible. I find that I have often overcommitted, so to make more time for myself would mean going back on my promises or letting other people down. My life becomes a whirlwind. I'm either working, sleeping, or driving to and from work. There are times when I don't cook for weeks on end. I eat on the move, a diet of vegan sausage rolls, crisps, and bananas. My intention is to meditate every morning for at least 20 minutes, and again in the evening before I go to bed. But in honesty, that is rarely the case. I also intend to eat a healthier diet. Sometimes the only time I actively practice a recognizable form of Buddhism is when I'm sat here in the shrine room on a Saturday morning. I remember as a child, with my limited knowledge of religion, thinking it strange that people only seem to worship God on a particular day of the week and only in a certain building. Now I can understand a bit better how that kind of behavior might occur. Normally, when I'm leading practice, this would be the time when I would say, look out the window and observe the beauty of nature, or I would comment on what a wonderful experience I'd had when walking in the woods. But sometimes it doesn't feel like you have the time to look out the window or go for a walk. I can't remember the last time I went up on the hills. These are the times when I really have to dig deep to find the Dharma, but it's always there. These are the times when we need to find solace in a sip of tea or a smile of a stranger, an ant crawling across the pavement, or the fact that we have clean underwear and a bed to sleep in at night. The real humdrum of life. I was listening to a podcast on the radio in bed one evening recently when a woman was talking about how stressful life had become for her and her family. So they gave up their jobs, sold their house in London and bought a house in the country with enough land to tend to some animals and grow some vegetables. Lovely for them, but this is not the reality most of us experience. If you can't dramatically change your lifestyle that easily, but you are of a spiritual nature or are following a spiritual path, these are the times when you have no choice but to find the beauty in the mundane. When I let go of my attachment to the idea of an easier life and stop craving for a better time ahead and accept that I can't always change things in the short term, that's when I can relax and start to enjoy the ride. I can simply enjoy being alive. I have to find my pleasure in sitting, eating, breathing, and sleeping. I can enjoy driving to and from work, having a moment to breathe while sitting at a red light. The feel of the steering wheel in my hands can become a pleasant experience if I let it. How lovely it can feel to yawn and stretch. This might sound corny and pretentious, but when you feel that's all you have in your life, then that's what you need to take pleasure in. Stop fighting and enjoy the moment, whatever the moment is. This is everyday Buddhism. We don't need shrine rooms and effigies. We don't need to create special times and circumstances to appreciate life and the Dharma. I'm not suggesting these are bad things. In fact, the opposite. I would encourage going to temples and surrounding ourselves with reminders of the Buddha in the form of statues and images, but we don't want to fall into the trap of relying on them. You can take time out in nature and meditate by a pool. I would highly recommend it, but sometimes you can't. When things are not going well and our circumstances don't feel great, when we're down on our luck or feeling sorry for ourselves, Amida is still there. The love is still there. We just need to see it. I was once introduced to an experiment, and we could do it now. If you look around the room and focus on everything you can see that's red, whether it be the cushions or in the pictures or in people's clothing, and just look at all the red stuff, focus on the red stuff. And then you can do this at home as well, Chris. And then close your eyes and try and remember all the red stuff. Think about all the red things you've seen, focus on them for a while. And now with your eyes still closed, try and recall all the white things you've seen. I just imagine that's quite difficult because you're still thinking about all the red things. Yeah, because that's all you've been focusing on. If we concentrate on how difficult our lives are or how stressed we are, we can become fixated on our problems and fail to see the good things in life that are right before our eyes, like the white things. We can practice finding joy in every moment. We create reasons to smile and be grateful, and our troubled minds become more at ease. As our focus shifts from negative thoughts to more positive ones, this shines through in our demeanor, and people respond to us in a more enthusiastic and favorable way. Life starts to look better, and we don't have to try so hard. The love and wonder is always there. Sometimes we just have to open our eyes a bit more and look beyond our busy lives to see it. Now we will make prostrations. Namo Amitabha.
Namo
Amitabha.
Gratitude. We make this offering to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas throughout space and time. May it be fragrant as the earth herself, reflecting our careful efforts, our wholehearted mindfulness, and the fruits of understanding slowly ripen. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness, realize our true home.
Return to your seats, Sandy. So we'll bow first to one side and then the other on one bow, and then we'll bow on double bow, we'll bow to the shrine. Take our seats and bow to our seats. So before the closing verse, have we got any announcements?
Volunteer hour
Yeah.
at some point
Yeah.
soon coming up. They're a great thing to do.
Yeah.
Very rewarding.
So we have a volunteer hour last Saturday of every month, but we have discussed doing it every fortnight, which
Yes,
I've forgotten about.
Yeah.
I could do one today if anyone wants to come in the garden for an hour after a cup of tea. So is that the only one?
We have an open day in
Oh,
September.
yes, we do.
So if you know
So-
anybody who's ever
Isn't it October? Sorry.
No, that's the retreat day.
Oh, okay.
We've got a retreat day as well.
September.
as you can see, we all know exactly what everything's happening. Yeah, open day. So that would just be a really lovely opportunity for new people to come, and there's always quite a nice
So
atmosphere.
do you have any flyer or anything I can share?
We probably won't have flyers, but we'll have a social media post you could share.
Yes.
We don't normally do flyers, do we?
Maybe we could do some basic flyers, but
Maybe.
realistically,
I just got some
flyers.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could write it onto our normal flyers.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll see if we add it on.
Put some on the
Yeah.
table as well. And there's a retreat day in October. I can't remember the date.
There is a retreat day in October, so we haven't held one for ages, but we're really looking forward to holding a retreat day based on the earth in October. Kirtan and chanting has moved to the first Sunday night of every month instead of the last.
And there's a cup of tea after practice if you want one, and there's a golden bowl for donations, or you can donate online if you feel you'd like to. So the closing verse, which is on the liturgy sheet, if you don't know it, it's very short. Blessed by any times of life, may we care for all living things and for God